Boris wants to answer this one. So this is an interesting little bit of trivia that I don't think a lot of people know. And that is, while Portal 2 is made after Left 4 Dead 2, I couldn't get a lot of features I wanted in Left 4 Dead 2 because I would be told, oh, we'll do that in Source 2. We're not going to waste our time in Source 1 on this. Portal 2 is going to be the last Source 2 engine. Now, Left 4 Dead was made off of the Counter-Strike Source branch of Source. So even internally for us, we had different branches that we did not merge all the stuff together, so they didn't get everything. So the Portal 2 branch it's a different branch. That's the branch that moved on. That was like the orange box branch, you would call it. And that got all the features and all the extra things. Now, Portal 2 is a super easy game for memory because you're resetting, the maps are tiny, the character's got nothing, you have the portal gun. That's why you can make it look really nice because you can pour a lot into it because there's not a lot there, right? I mean, that's just elegant and simple. Not to say it isn't a beautiful game. I mean, I think, especially for what it is, it's exactly perfect. And so that works really well. But for Left 4 Dead 2 in particular, that was a dead branch. We knew we weren't going to be updating that branch. So getting a lot of features put in just weren't ever going to happen, and I knew that. And I remember queuing for like matchmaking. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff that we would get in these arguments and it'd be like, well, in Source 2, we'll fix this, and then make a little note that in Source 2, we're going to do it this way. But that didn't help the game, right? I mean, that was kind of frustrating. But equally, both Left 4 Dead 2, and then to a lesser extent, Portal 2, were games that got everybody kind of have to be back on, and everybody, in the company worked on it, at least testing. Portal 2, a lot less, because we wanted to stop doing that. We wanted to stop every time we release a game. Everybody's got to be working the same game. We can't do 2 games then. We were trying to do 2 games. So Portal 2 ends up looking beautiful and tiny and it's got its thing and it's moved on, and that became CSGO, and then CSGO is now CS2, and CS2 is Source 2, and Source 2's got a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's a jump, right? But it's also why Left 4 Dead 2, the big thing that lost out on was when we were originally looking to look at like items and other things, was we couldn't do what TF2 did, because TF2 could do the thing where you could replicate all of the items across the world for everybody, and so you could see what each other was wearing. So we could do microtransactions. We can do, but at the time it was just, perks and weird little things and hats, right? Hats. But the hats came because we could do that there because that was from the Portal 2 version of Source, not the Counter-Strike Source. The Counter-Strike Source version would have been too much work to get that to work. And so that's why Left 4 Dead 2, when you have mods and stuff, it doesn't actually show for other people. And that always bummed me out, because I think seeing what other people pick and select is so much fun. And that's why for the Anacrusis, in our modding, you can see what other people pick. So even if you haven't downloaded it, it will take a minute and it will download it. You can turn it off so it doesn't do it, but you can also do it where it'll download it and you can see what everyone else wears. And then it becomes funny because some people will make theirs and then just keep it private and it's just for them, right? And it's kind of a gag that way. And then they share it out later. But you get a lot of that happening because you could see each other's mods. And to me, that was really important in the Anacrusis. Sorry, Boris is getting a little jumpy. Yeah, I know. You just ate, dude. You're not gonna eat again. But so yeah, that's always that weird thing of like, I think people think there's this one monolithic thing happening when there's a lot of little things playing into it. And then again, every time you release a game, you learn something. Like, man, I'd love to make another game with just short, tiny little maps. Oh my God, you could go crazy with what you put inside those. But I did learn. If I'm going to let modding happen, I'm going to make sure that everyone gets to see the modding. So, you live and learn. I am not going to feed him again. He just ate. He ate 2 lunches. He had breakfast and 2 lunches. You're not getting fed, dude.